when we got our emancipation from enslavement, we got nothing but freedom. Nothing but freedom. So land was not an option for us. And so we had to work our way to that land. And it's still a challenge. It's still beyond many, many, many of us.
My name is Winnie Naini Letoya. I come from Kenya. I am a curator from Kenya, from Maasai land.
Je suis professeur associé à l'Université de Goma. C'est une université publique qui est basée dans l'est de la République démocratique du Congo.
This is Professor Catherine Namakla of the UN Working Group of Experts on People of African Descent. I'm also convener of the Africa Reparation Hub of the University of the Free State.
My name is Justice Alfred Maletseke. I am representing Africa Judges and Jurists Forum.
My name is Gaynell Curry, and I am the Vice Chair of the United Nations Permanent Forum on People of African Descent. I'm also a faculty member in the law faculty at the University of The Bahamas.
Matthias Goldman, I'm a professor of international law from Germany. I work for the Max Planck Institute for Comparative Public Law and International Law.
I'm Krishni Apadu, and I'm a senior lecturer at the University of Mauritius. And I'm also the founder and CEO of Climate Justice Compact.
I'm Dr. Olali Kombelo. I'm a senior lecturer at the University of Leicester School of Law. I'm also the Associate Director of the Institute of Environmental Futures at the University of Leicester.
My name is Dr. Nyambi Hall Campbell-Dean. I'm Associate Professor of Psychology at the University of the Bahamas and Chair of the Bahamas National Reparations Committee.
We at the University of the Bahamas and the University of Pretoria have just signed a Memorandum of Understanding. And a part of that Memorandum of Understanding is for us to collaborate, to have discussions and discourse on issues similar to, starting with reparations for people of African descent. This relationship with the University of Pretoria started for me personally as way back as 2007, because I was blessed to have a very near and dear lecturer at the University of Oxford, Christoph Haynes, who started this Human Rights Center here at the University of Pretoria. And he said to me, yes, we should do it. We should collaborate, University of Bahamas and University of Pretoria. So, my heart goes out to Christoph, and I remember those dynamic conversations that we have had over the years, and why we need to build a stronger bridge between the Caribbean and Africa.
Donc aujourd'hui, nous sommes réunis ici dans le cadre du thème de l'Union africaine de l'année 2025 sur la justice à travers les réparations, la justice pour des faits de la traite négrière, de l'esclavagisme, de la colonisation, de l'apartheid et de tous les génocides qu'ont subis non seulement les Africains, mais également les Afro-descendants pendant plusieurs siècles.
It's basically a dialogue between the Caribbean scholars and African scholars to try and find practical ways to support the African Union and CARICOM in pursuit of the reparatory justice agenda.
At a very critical time during the Africa Year for Reparation and at the beginning of the second UN decade for people of African descent, we are devising mechanisms and ways of working together, synergies of our work in terms of actually articulating the debate that has been very much thriving at the international level, to bring it down into our work at the national level and among regional mechanisms. In attendance, we have so many continental bodies. We have the African Court on Human and People's Rights. We have the African Commission present. We have NEPAD present. We have also our colleagues from CARICOM and all other mechanisms at the UN level. So we are all coming together. It's no longer each one working in their corner, and we can also see academics around the continent. That's very critical because we have been missing academic work that is driven from the African continent. And we are seeing this coming through, connecting with the academic work in the Caribbean, such as the University of Bahamas. It's really wonderful.
The contributions from all of the presenters has been really enlightening. Everybody has come with a perspective that is really grounded in research and a perspective that is based in a belief that reparations are going to happen and that we're just working our way towards them, especially hearing it from persons all over the continent, where my conversations have really been focused with people in the Caribbean. It's great to hear new perspectives and new voices in the reparations conversations.
So during these 2 days, I've had the chance not only to talk about climate reparations, but also learn on so many themes connected with reparations. And I think it has been a great learning experience.
Through these reparations, my culture can be restored back. Our identity can be restored back, because I think lack of education and lack of knowing what to do about our culture has really destroyed us back home.
Grew up in an era when there were campaigns for restoration of values of Africa that was stolen away by the past colonial masters, Britain, Belgium, Italy, Spain, Portugal. Chief MKO Abiola, who eventually campaigned for presidency in Nigeria. He was the one who championed this reparations cause. And I remember there was this Abuja conference in 1993 where he made a claim for $777 trillion against all these past colonial masters, to say, look, this is the least we can get. We now have the black people in Caribbean, in West Indies, even in Europe, joining this reparations campaign.
The impact of colonization is until this day, and how much there is an actual need for reparations. So how reparations address issues that concern people's lives. It's not something from the distant past. It's something that has an impact on present realities and power disparities and people's traumas, people's livelihoods, the countries in which people live, the groups, the societies.
Cette conférence qui réunit les experts des différentes organisations de l'Union africaine, des Nations unies, des académiciens, mais également des praticiens, vise non seulement à mettre ensemble toutes les idées novatrices sur la façon dont les Africains et les Afro-descendants peuvent revendiquer auprès de leurs colonisateurs les réparations auxquelles ils ont droit. Cela non seulement va leur remettre la dignité que leurs aïeux ont perdue durant la colonisation, la traite négrière et l'esclavagisme. Cela va également affirmer ou mettre au centre de la question de nouvel ordre politique, mettre les droits de l'homme. Parce que avoir accès aux réparations est une partie intégrante de la justice, de la vérité, mais également affirmer l'humanisme de l'individu. Parce que lorsque vous êtes victime ou vos aïeux sont victimes de la colonisation de la traite négrière, c'est votre dignité qui est reniée, c'est votre humanité qui est reniée.
This conference follows a study tour that we organized for the African Union to go and learn from CARICOM on how best the two regional bodies can collaborate to mount a global campaign for reparative justice.
This dialogue is just tremendous because I think we got a chance for Africa to learn a little bit about us in the Caribbean, particularly from the Bahamas, because the Bahamas is not typically one of the countries in the Caribbean that you hear from on these issues, but we wanted the world to know, and for our African colleagues to know that we have a very vibrant engagement with people of African descent and fighting for reparations. So the value of being here is really to say that, hey, you have a partner in the Caribbean, we want to partner with you, and we want to have these discussions with the University of Pretoria, with Africans on the continent, and to build that bridge between the Caribbean and the continent.
Love the dogged spirit, the unrelenting spirit of the black man, whether Nigerian, South African, Kenyan, Zimbabwean, or Guyanese, or Barbadian. Yeah, we have all kept to the mantra of we need that reparations, because the historical injustices cannot just go uncompensated. So for us to have a forum like this, which I'm so proud of, it shows that we are beginning, because the academia is now seriously engaged in this, and we will not relent.
I think we are domesticating the movement. For a long time, we have been speaking about de-eliticizing the movement, domesticating it and popularizing it, and seeing the level at which we are getting now, whereby all stakeholders are working together at all levels. We are seeing more happening. We are seeing more action-driven endeavors, other than just talking about what we feel entitled to. And actually, it has also moved from being acclaimed from others, what others should do for us, to rid ourselves of the chains of enslavement, but what we can also do for ourselves. So it's becoming also a self-reflective obligation. So I see that coming out of this dialogue, also building onto the dynamic we had at the African Reparation Hub in the previous week. We have made a 10-point agenda for reparatory justice in the legal education in Africa, whereby we are looking at it as academics. What do we do from our perspective? How do we bring up a graduate that is more connected to the issues of justice within their environment and that concern our people we serve, and the people we live among us, including ourselves?
The long-term outcome ultimately is reparations, right? That when we recognize the strength of Africa and the diaspora really linking up, that there's nothing that can stop that unity, right? That momentum, that when we come together and collaborate, that we have the power, we have the numbers, and we have justice on our side to really move this movement forward and make reparations a reality.
I also hope that it will lead people in former colonial powers to listen to the people from formerly colonized territories, and to listen to their stories, and to think what their response could be, and how the claim for reparations could be the beginning of a newer, brighter future for people from the north and from the south.
Of all the contributions for this conference, I think in the long run, it will not only open up the space and the dialogue, but also within the international space, make room for this very important conversation, so that genuine steps and concrete action can be taken in terms of reparations for descendants of all those who went through the slavery and their descendants, and also to come up with reconciliation.
I'm very optimistic that in the long run, this kind of partnerships between CARICOM and AU will result in a more coordinated approach towards the pursuit for reparatory justice. Because up to now, I think the efforts have been quite fragmented. I think CARICOM has been doing important work, but I also think that important work could be more impactful if there is collaboration between the two regional bodies, AU and CARICOM. But also, more importantly for me, these kind of conversations will bring in allies from outside of the category or the demographic of African people, because the fight or the pursuit for reparative justice has to be a global campaign that is not only exclusive to African people, but one that brings everyone who is passionate for justice to contribute to the cause. In order for us to have a more cohesive world, in order for us to have a more peaceful world, we need to be able to repair the damage that was caused by the injustices which were suffered in the past, which until now have sort of created wounds that need to be healed. And I think that is what reparative justice is about. It is not about punishing anyone. It is not about revenge. I think it is about building peace and building a world where everyone has a sense of belonging.
As a Maasai lady, as a Maasai woman, I want to encourage my community back home. I want to encourage my fellow women back home. They need to know that they need to wake up. They need to face the future because the future has changed. We're no longer back there when we used to sit down and relax. So because the world is changing, we have to wake up as Maasai ladies, as Maasai men, as the community, educate our kids.
Quelle est la spécificité? Comment on peut arriver à faire en sorte que l'Union africaine interagisse non seulement avec ses États membres, mais également avec les partenaires externes. Et parmi ces partenaires externes figurent certaines puissances colonisatrices sur la meilleure façon de pouvoir réparer les préjudices que les gens ont subis. Et à mon avis, le dernier livrable, c'est de mettre à la disposition de tous les décideurs africains des idées novatrices, des idées claires sur la meilleure manière de réparer les préjudices. Rappelez-vous que ces préjudices qui ont été subis n'ont pas été subis de la même manière par la diaspora, par les Africains ou par les Afro-descendants. Il y a plusieurs façons dont ces préjudices les ont affectés. Les préjudices ont affecté les femmes différemment des hommes différemment des enfants, et ainsi de suite. Alors, si on arrive à produire des idées particulières pour chaque préjudice, je crois que ce sera une très grande contribution de la conférence de Pretoria.